Let's do it. Let's do it. Are we live in the chat, ladies and gentlemen? Are we live, baby? Let's make sure the audio is good. Camera's working. Stream is recording. Ladies and gentlemen, our LA Rams solidified themselves yesterday as the deepest team in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care about the results. I don't care if you beat Kansas City. I don't care if you dominate the New Orleans Saints. And ladies and gentlemen, what we got yesterday was a domination by our LA Rams going up against the Saints. I don't care if it's preseason, ladies and gentlemen. It's more so a testament to the level of talent that this LA Rams team has throughout the totality of its roster. When you're going up there with third and fourth stringers and you're consistently applying pressure to the opposition in terms of the opposing team's quarterback, and your offensive line has been stout in the first two preseason games. I'm talking about elite offensive line play, ladies and gentlemen, with third stringers and fourth stringers and players who potentially may not even make this team. Ladies and gentlemen, the LA Rams have players on their roster right now that are likely going to get cut that would make opposing teams top 53. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you guys, and I debunked this, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago. If you remove the top four players in terms of age amongst the LA Rams roster, right? Because they said that, well, the media says that the LA Rams have an aging veteran roster, right? Again, further solidifying their case as to they do not know this team. They do not know the players that they have on the roster. If you remove four of those players, the LA Rams have the fourth youngest roster in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. You can check that episode out. It's on the channel. I went over that. That's right. You heard that. So if you remove, I believe it's Matthew Stafford, Tyler Higbee, Devontae Adams, and I forget the other player. I think Myles Garrett because he's 30. The LA Rams will have an average age, don't quote me, it's the fourth youngest in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, so again, we are not just the aging veteran roster. This LA Rams team has talent from the top down. I told you guys that their depth was insane. Ladies and gentlemen, the strides that we are making at the offensive line positions right now, it's a testament to the offensive line coaches that this LA Rams team has. The way they're able to develop these linemen. The defensive coaches, man. Shout out to Chris Shula for putting this thing together, man. Listen, I forget the name of the defensive line coach. He has done a fantastic job. I'm sorry, I'm going off the top right now. He has done a fantastic job with these edge rushers and the way we've been getting after the quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen our draft picks make an impact. We have seen UDFAs make an impact, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the deal. You want to know why the LA Rams are able to track down these guys compared to these other teams and why they're able to find steals in these positions? It's because of the exact characteristics that they're looking for each of these players. And when you combine those characteristics along with the personality to win, a we, not me mentality, and you combine that with the coaching staff that this LA Rams team has, when you have the head coach and Sean McVay, the leader of men, the best leader of men, okay, establishing the culture at the level he has, that is why you have what you have right now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what anybody wants to tell me about it being preseason. We could talk about Stetson Bennett. We could talk about Ty Simpson. We could talk about C.J. Daniels. We could talk about Bailey. We could talk about Jarquez Hunter, Murray. You name it, we can go there. But ladies and gentlemen, the NFL world, y'all not going to completely overlook what this LA Rams team really is. Y'all going to look at the big flashy names and then potentially bringing back Aaron Donald. Y'all going to look at them and say, oh, they're top heavy. You have no idea what is on this team, ladies and gentlemen. What we've seen now in both these preseason games is these players being in great positions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a testament to coaching, okay? The interception that Hamilton had yesterday, great positioning. Cook, the pick six, excellent vision, reading the eyes of Spencer Rattler, ladies and gentlemen. Bailey being an absolute menace off of the edge, ladies and gentlemen. That's coaching going up with talent. Bailey, in my opinion, we'll get into this later. He is too good. You cannot let this man go. I don't know about y'all, but he reminds me a lot of Jadeveon Clowney. I'm not saying he's Jadeveon Clowney, but the way he rushes, maybe not as fast as Jadeveon Clowney. There's a lot of similarities between both of their games. And ladies and gentlemen, again, that is a testament to scouting, coaching, and the general manager having the right people in place to set this team up for success when bringing in these players. Ladies and gentlemen, the Snead-McVay combo is the real deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to do on this episode of UDK Sports Talk. We're going to pull up the game. We're going to be reacting to some clips. This episode might be broken down into 2 episodes. I believe that that's the way we're going to go because, as all of you know, I have a habit of rambling on, especially when we're talking about the LA Rams, because I'm extremely passionate when covering this team and reacting. Now, as all of you know, I do like to dive into the tape, and what we're going to do is I feel like it's only right, because we spoke about this following the preseason game that we had against the Chiefs, right? And I talked about Ty Simpson. I broke down this tape, why I was extremely impressed with what he was able to do, and I compared him to Stetson Bennett, and I broke down Stetson Bennett's play. And if you remember in that video, I told you guys this. Stetson Bennett, you know, in my opinion, I still believe Ty Simpson is better. I don't care if he had a great performance yesterday. It doesn't matter. All right. You're going to look at that one throw that he made on the sidelines. Fantastic throw. An absolute dot. You give him credit. But I told you guys, Stetson Bennett has the stones. Y'all get what I'm saying? He has the stones to attempt those throws. Now, will he complete those throws is a completely different question because all of us Rams fans have seen it. Yes, when he gets hot, he's nice. But you also get those times where he's throwing it right to the defender. You're like, what the heck were you looking at? And I do believe that in this game, because I'm going to be fair to both quarterbacks, you did see some of those differences that I spoke about when comparing him and Ty Simpson. And I want to say that in this episode, we'll talk more about the play calling because I thought Dave Rigoni did a fantastic job at calling these plays. We'll go over the game and I'll explain to you why I believe Stetson Bennett had the game that he did. I thought the play calling was great to get him in a rhythm. You saw early on in the game the back shoulder throw to C.J. Daniels. I thought C.J. Daniels was fantastic, you know, and those type of throws, if you don't understand how football works for a quarterback, the play calling was very quarterback friendly. It allowed him to get comfortable, get into a rhythm, a lot of quick passes. And then when he had the opportunity to let that thing fly, he felt confident and was very comfortable in doing so. You get what I'm saying? They didn't come right off the rip with a play action deep shot, hitting a guy in stride and having to look off of safety. That's not what happened, ladies and gentlemen. The way the LA Rams, I want to say Shieldhouse called it the first preseason game, and Rigoni called it yesterday. I've loved the way they've called the games. And I've absolutely loved the way the offensive line has been playing and how we've been generating a push in the run game, specifically yesterday, and how the pass pro has been. The pass pro has been insane, ladies and gentlemen. But you guys know the deal. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you're a recurring member, you guys know how we get down. This is another episode of UDK Sports Talk. I'm your host, Alex Cruz. And ladies and gentlemen, man, before I go over the tape, I needed to pull up these comments for you. Because I know I just went on a long-winded, I want to say, well, we're like 8 minutes into this introduction. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to try and be as quick as I possibly can. But I want everybody to look at these comments by Teron Armstead. Because this further solidifies what I've been trying to tell you on this channel. You know, we spoke about the joint practices following the one that we had against the Dallas Cowboys, right? We then talked a little bit about what happened following the New Orleans Saints joint practice, right? And I told you guys this, that the LA Rams have been going about these things as business as usual. How do we get better? How do we stack days, ladies and gentlemen? And remember, everybody was saying, oh, the LA Rams, they weren't good going up against the Dallas Cowboys, right? Remember all of those narratives that the Cowboys fan base was running with. Y'all remember that, right? This is Teron Armstead, one of the best left tackles to ever play the game, okay? One of the biggest tackles or biggest offensive linemen in New Orleans Saints history, ladies and gentlemen, okay? We're going to pull up some comments from him, and then we're going to be reacting to some of the clips from the game. Let's pull up the research mode, ladies and gentlemen, and let's do it. Let's pull this bad boy up. Sorry, you guys. So y'all see this right here. Ex-Pro Bowl offensive tackle Teron Armstead. Remember, this is the same guy that said, yeah, I don't want no smoke with Jared Verse anymore. That's when I knew it was time for me to retire. A heck of a player. One of the best linemen to play in his era, ladies and gentlemen. That's how fantastic Armstead is. This is a guy who knows football, who played it at an elite level. Let's hear what he had to say about the LA Rams. So, we only need to play about a minute into this. Let's hear it.
Well, I'm cashing out. NFC? Yes, sir. You remember last time I was here? We went through the schedule of a team. Sure did. And I went no blemishes. Mm-hmm. Them Rams look good, dog. I was just at the Saints and Rams joint practice yesterday. Mm-hmm. Them Rams look good, dog. They are talented, very talented. Matt Stafford he probably completed 20 passes in a row at one point during practice. The defense was flying around. Saints was able to make some plays and move the ball, but then the Rams defense responded. No Myles Garrett yesterday. No Aaron Donald yesterday. Mm-hmm. Hint, hint. And they still were able to, you see it. Like, you see a team that's sure of themselves, confident, talented. Devontae Adams was, the Rams are very real. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's your thought that they could go undefeated?
We're not going to go that far. I made a ridiculous hot take saying that, the LA Rams, they could potentially go undefeated. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that. I'm going to pull up the full view because I have to react to that. All right. And now remember, you guys, that's a Pro Bowl offensive tackle, potentially a Hall of Famer. And you saw his reaction. You saw the facial expression when talking about the LA Rams. Them boys are good, yo. They are talented. This is a guy who played it at the highest level. I want to say, you know what? I have to check his career. You guys can fact check me in the comments if I'm wrong. But I do believe he was a member of that team that won the Super Bowl when he was playing with Drew Brees. I want to say he was the offensive tackle on that team. You guys can fact check me if I'm wrong. I do know for sure he was there when we broke their hearts in 2018. But ladies and gentlemen, when a Pro Bowl offensive tackle who has deep roots in the New Orleans Saints franchise, sits there and says what he did about the LA Rams team, and you saw how he said wink, wink, well, hint, hint, at Aaron Donald returning. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have to react to that, but we all saw the workout videos and what Aaron Donald said, basically prepping for the season. Ladies and gentlemen, he's coming back. He just don't want to do training camp. Y'all already, if you follow me, we spoke about this with Michael Brockers. Hold up. OBS is wilding on me. I'm sorry, you guys. I got to find a better way of streaming, man, because this is crazy right now. Let's make sure this thing clears up. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear those comments, first and foremost, drop your opinions in the comments right now, because I've been explaining this all to you guys. I've been very adamant on this channel. I told you guys the talent that they've had all the way from the top down. The second and third string guys being extremely talented. Remember last year we made the arguments, well, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have gotten my thoughts. I told you guys that the LA Rams have one of the deepest teams ever in the Snead and McVay era. And ladies and gentlemen, what you have right now with this team is special. The top is loaded, pause. And your second and third string guys are also extremely talented that could potentially fight for a starting spot in other areas. Well, in other teams, other franchises. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a testament to the players that this team has. And what we're going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, because it's that time, drop your opinions in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about what Teron Armstead said. But we're going to be pulling up this preseason game. Let's get into it, and let's start breaking down some tape, right? Sorry, guys. I had to edit that out real quick. But I ain't trying to get hit with the copyright. You guys know the deal. So here we go. Let's pull it up. So we start the game off. Jet sweep, excellent. Excellent way to start the game. And my boy, who is that, Blasky? I thought he has been sensational at the right tackle position. Look at how he seals this edge right there. Look at the block by 64. You see, the reason why this happens is because of the block 64 has. Okay? And to start off the game, forcing the Saints to be in a position, well, putting them in a position where they have to defend side to side and really have to respect the sweep motion. I thought that this play, yes, it was, I want to say, a 5-yard game. Let's play it. But this type of play call forces the players on the defensive side to have to pay attention to everything and defend every inch of the field, vertically and side to side and horizontally. And let's pull up that block right there. So y'all see 64 with the block, right? Y'all see it? And look at the wide receiver getting in the way of the DB. And look at 5 getting the block. Ladies and gentlemen, excellent coaching. Even excellent offensive line play. Look, everybody's in their assignments. This is what you want to see, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. So then you follow that up, making things easier for Stetson Bennett. And this is how it goes. Look, they run the play fake again. Now, remember, you have your guy running the flat underneath. Again, going back to what I said, making sure that your quarterback is comfortable and basically calling plays that get him in a rhythm. And you see, because they went with the jet sweep, the play before that, and then you run a play like this, and understanding the LA Rams scheme, how they like to be very vanilla in the preseason, they're running that outside zone scheme. So more times than not, when they sell that outside zone action, you have to go to that because traditionally in Sean McVay's offenses, that's his bread and butter. So now you just follow that jet sweep up, well, jet sweep play with that, and now you're going to this. Woo! Got him. Too late. Right by him. And on top of that, you get an explosive play off of throwing something in the flat. Excellent play calling. Look. Man, hold up. I don't think y'all track it, man. Y'all want to talk about Stetson Bennett. He had a great game. I'm not going to contest that. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all need to see these mofos right here. Y'all see this? Look at this pass pro. Look at this. Look at this. What are we talking about? Listen, I wish I had the all-22 film so I could talk to you about the route combos. But look, great decision by Bennett. He sees what it is. He has multiple guys open. Got my man's in the flat. This one right here. Take what the defense gives you. Look at this pocket, ladies and gentlemen. Elite offensive line play by 3rd and 4th stringers. Look at this.
And get him on the board in person.
Look, quick, efficient passes. Get you in the rhythm. And ladies and gentlemen, you want to know what makes this great right here? Is the fact that the offensive line play has been so good, it truly allows you to see what the quarterbacks have. Because protection is not an issue. So now you can facilitate the offense. You can see what these quarterbacks can do when they are protected. Great job by the offensive line. We'll fast forward. We'll go over the defensive plays a little bit later in the next episode. But here we go. Look at the push, man. Look at the push. Look at the push by the offensive line. Look at this. Look at this. Murray. Look at the right guard. Look at him. Look at Blasky. Look. Combo blocks, man. Let's go. We talking about, man? We talking about? Look at the physicality, man. That's the one thing. Hold on. Let's pull. I don't want to pull up the full view because I don't want to start messing up the OBS because it might be jacked up right now too. The one thing you see with this Rams offensive line is the physicality at which they play with. The physicality is through the roof. Because remember, Sean McVay's offenses, in my opinion, earlier on in his career were a bit more finesse. They were a little bit more physical than a finesse team, but they were a little bit more finesse. They have a very physical, imposing run game right now. Like we want to dominate you type of feel with their offensive line. Like we want to run your ass over. That's the type of mindset and personality you see now with the Rams offensive line, which is a beautiful thing to see. Let's check this out. Great blitz pickup. What is that, Waters or Hunter? I believe that's Jarquez Hunter. Look at this. Look, way to pick him up, man. Look at the pocket, son. Yo, see, y'all not going to see this. Look at how my man's Blasky throws my man's on the ground. Don't bump out of here, dog. What you think this is? See what I'm saying? Look at this. Quick, efficient. Look. He's going from reads 1 to 2 to 3. That's all the credit goes to the O-line on that. Bang. Hit C.J. Daniels. who had a fantastic game. Was it C.J. Daniels? No. C.J. Daniels is right here on the quick. I guess you call that quick in route. Let's run it again. The pass pro. And they running a stunt, communicating up front. Wow. This is the fourth down play? Yeah. Look at this.
Yeah, Matthew, it seems like Terrence Ferguson is.
That is a dot.
Yeah, Matthew, it
Dot.
Yeah, Matthew, it seems like Terrence Ferguson is.
So I'm gonna break this down a little bit. So this is a play action bootleg the whole way. So you're gonna have routes that flood the concepts over here. So you're in a 4th-and-1 situation. So the defense does a great job at taking away the flat route. So Hunter would have been in the flat, right? But now 98 is open. So right now you have 44 who is on C.J. Daniels as the quick check down, right? So right now I believe that he was really convinced that, listen, it's 4th-and-1. I'm throwing this bad boy out there. In my opinion, I believe that Stetson Bennett knew the whole time he wanted to go to this side of the field. And the reason why I say that is because of how the reads look. So you see, he has that little hitch. I believe he saw him a little late. So he could have had this right here, right? He could have. But you have 2 defenders in front of you. It is what it is. So you lob it out in front. You're about to take that hit. And this is all the trust in 82 right here. I want to say that's Scott. And that is a fantastic grab by the receiver. Fantastic throw. Sidearm. Flick of the wrist. Look at this. But what's crazier about this play is maybe he looked at it. I think he did, actually. Or maybe he was looking at C.J. Daniels right here. But anywho, you see you have this right here. Your combination is right here. He throws it to this side, right? And Scott makes a hell of a play. But when you look at it from the All-22 film, if he would have kept his eyes down here, he would have saw the receiver generate a ton of separation with a bunch of space in front of him. So obviously 4th-and-1, the natural human response of being pressured. You have big-ass human beings, Pauls, running at you, about to hit you. He's like, know what? I'm going to just toss it up to a spot where I believe my guy can get it. If he could get there, he could get there. If not, it is what it is. It's 4th-and-1 anyway. So we got to convert. So he throws it up. God makes a great play. But if you look at it from the All-22 film, he actually has a receiver that breaks open inside, which would have been an easier throw, but it is what it is. That's me nitpicking. This right here goes back to what I told you guys about him having the absolute stones to throw this pass. Because the difference between Stetson Bennett and Ty Simpson is I believe that Ty Simpson, I know a lot of people felt a kind of way that I compared him to Brock Purdy, but it's the truth. Bro, he's going to take what the defense gives him. If the receiver's open right away, we're going to methodically drive up and down the field, and we'll take our chances when we get there. Okay? Stetson Bennett, man, sometimes he's just going to be like, dog, I'm going to stand on business, and I'm going to throw that thing. I don't care what y'all have to say. And that's when you get a play like this. Ooh. All right, let's fast forward. Man, look at the offensive line play again. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. The combo blocks. Look how we getting to the next level, man. This dude right here, Murray, he got to make the team. He is ridiculous. And shout out to Curry for playing solid, man, as well. Look at this. Jordan, what is that, Jordan Waters? Yeah. Waters has been running the ball really well, too. Look at this. Great protection, man. Look at this. Great protection, bro. Look at this. Take what the defense gives you, man. Shout out to Mavis for getting the job done. So here we go. Look at the push again. I remember we spoke about Jarquez Hunter. Remember I talked about him having that explosion, that acceleration, right? Shows it perfectly right here. Look, great blocks. 64 does his job. Look at the way the center and the guards come off the ball. Look at this. See this block right here? How my man throws a grown man out the way? See, that's my guy Murray. You see him? You see what I'm talking about? This is a grown man. This is a grown man's game. Right here. You see that? Get up out the way, son. Get up out the way, son. Yo, Murray got to make the team. Got to make the team. Sheesh. Look at that. Quick, efficient. Take what I could get, man. And Stetson Bennett missed some deep passes, man. He missed some shots. Could have had a better game. Look at that. Look at the pocket, man. Oh, man. Just being able to survey. Bang, give me that. I'll take what I could get. Hey, shout out to Pressy, man. Pressy's been fantastic for the Rams as well. Good throw. Better grab. That's Bachman? I think that's Bachman. Look at this. Once again, off the play action bootleg, making things easy for him. Who is that? Bachman? Yup. Great grab, Bachman. Look at that. Look at, oh my God. Look at the offensive line eating again. Again, ladies and gentlemen. And then look at this. Look at this. Look at it. Look. Strong hands at the point of attack, man. Look at this. It don't matter. Because then you get this the next play. Got him. Looked at the flat. He had CJ. Nah, we good. We got it. Utilize the legs. Shout out to Stetson Bennett, man. Here we go. In the shotgun. Great throw. Great throw. Look at this. Look at the protection though, man. Look at this. Great route. Great throw. Goes into progressions. Bang. Back foot out. Great route by Bachman. Wow. Great timing. Look at when he cuts that ball. Remember, Bachman was on last week. Look at this. Great route. Oh, there we go. 3rd and 6. Utilizing them legs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is your outing in a nutshell by Stetson Bennett, man. He played the first half. Bang. Attaboy CJ Daniels. He was fantastic yesterday. Loved the way he played yesterday. Fast forward. Let's go. Let's check it out. Good protection again. Oh, man, look at this. Look at this. Give me that. Hit that back leg. Bang. Some touch. Give me that. This was a hell of a throw because this is layered in over a defender. Great throw. See, again, this goes back to what I'm telling you guys about the play calling. Once a quarterback gets in a rhythm and they are comfortable and they're confident, then you let a ball like this rip. Okay? Look at this. Look at how this looks. Over the linebacker. I want to say this. I was going to say it was a cover 2. It's not. And my man's playing in the flat. Then you have 3 deep right here. So, no. But you see this right here? Look at that layered throw. Over the top with safety help over the top. Over the linebacker. Only where he could get it. Fantastic. Fantastic throw. Look at this. Bang. Dot. But again, he can only that throw is only possible because of the protection he's getting up front, man. Look at this. Hits that back leg, back step of his drop back. He already knows. Great touch. And at this point, he's in that what they call a flow state. It's over. Once he hit that flow state, it's a wrap. That's why you got that right there. Let's go. Bang. Look at that. Now he that's it. He's in a rhythm. Beautiful. Thing of beauty. Like right here, I want to say, like, I guess we could all say at this point that we're going to go to CJ Daniels. Number 1 guy in college football last year in contested catches. Why not take a shot with him at the goal line? It is what it is. Then you go in at half. 20-0. Wow. Let's pause this right here. Gonna minimize this. Sorry, you guys. So, here's the deal. You saw what Stetson Bennett what he looked like right now, okay? And we're 32 minutes into this video, so what I'm going to be doing right here is we're going to wrap up Stetson Bennett's portion. And then, you know what? That's what we'll do. We're going to wrap up Stetson Bennett's portion, compare to Ty Simpson. Once we're done reacting to Ty Simpson highlights, Then we're going to pick up with another episode, and we'll talk more about the players, okay? But to sum it all up, man, when Stetson Bennett has it clicking, he feels confident and he is comfortable, I told you guys he will let that thing fly, okay? You saw the confidence. Again, this is a complete team effort, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I was seeing people in the comments saying, yo, Stetson Bennett is the real QB too. He looks sensational. Bro, you got to stop overreacting to a couple of throws. We saw this, a couple of preseasons ago? Was it last year when he threw 4 tutties? Was that or the year before that? You guys remember that big time game he had? He was lighting things up. No, he's shown this. When he's hot and it is clicking, this dude can light shit up. But the reality is that when you're able to get protected like this, okay, and then you have the elite play calling that you had. Coach Rigoni called a hell of a game yesterday. I don't think you guys understand that. Him being able to get into the flow of the offense, him being able to call the right plays, make the quarterback comfortable, okay? Remember this, comfortable. You saw the way he was spraying it around. All right, we're going to be looking at this portion of the field. Quick pass, get it out of there. Keep the offense in rhythm. Keep moving the chains. Keep methodically driving up the field. But then once we get to a point where you are comfortable, now we get to start putting out those more complex plays, a little bit more of having those routes that are a little bit deeper. What is a deep breaking out route, deep breaking in route, or a deep over route, a crosser, whatever the case is. You are hot and comfortable at this time because now you're in the flow of the game. So now you can let that thing rip and you're not overthinking it. And ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was a masterclass by Rigoni with how he called the game. He applied pressure to the New Orleans Saints side of their defense religiously yesterday. They had to defend horizontally, vertically. I said that earlier. And every play was like that because of how they called the game, which made Stetson Bennett's job that much easier. And with that offensive line protection that he had, ladies and gentlemen, that's different. And ladies and gentlemen, he ends up with 2 rushing touchdowns, 13-19 passing. I want to say he threw for like over 150 yards, I want to say. Hold on, I got to pull up the stats from the game. But ladies and gentlemen, Stetson Bennett was good. I want to say he had 190 yesterday. You guys let me know in the comments. I want to say it's 190, and that's me going from the top, what I can recall. But, man, Stetson Bennett was fantastic. Do I think that he beat out Ty Simpson? No. I think if he does beat out Ty Simpson, we all know why that's the case. We all know why. It's because he has more familiarity with the offense than Ty Simpson. But in terms of talent, Ty Simpson is more talented than Stetson Bennett. But when we're talking about stones to throw in the coverages and have that gut like that, I could do that shit, that's Stetson Bennett compared to Ty Simpson. And then, it's funny, but Matthew Stafford embodies all of that. The arm talent and the, I could throw that, you can't, brother. I could throw that, you can't. Remember I talked about FU arm talent? In order for you to have that type of talent, you have to have the arm strength, but you have to have the stones to throw into that type of window. Well, those type of windows. And that's what Stafford has. That's what makes him great. Stetson Bennett has that confidence, but he don't have the arm talent. And what I mean by arm talent, he doesn't have that arm strength that you need to consistently drive the ball into those windows, no matter how small the window may be. Okay? Does he have touch? Absolutely. Does he have the stones to throw the ball down the field? Absolutely. He missed a couple deep shots yesterday. If he connected on that one ball with C.J. Daniels on the sidelines on the first drive, that he likely gets it to even more of a rhythm. He probably hits that deep shot later. I want to say a couple of plays later. I want to say it happened on the second drive. I forget exactly when, but he probably hits that. We don't know. But, again, fantastic job by Stetson Bennett. Now, ladies and gentlemen, drop your opinions in the comments what you thought about Stetson Bennett. And what I'm going to do right now is we're just going to be reacting to Ty Simpson's highlights and try to make this as efficient as possible, ladies and gentlemen, because it's only 4 minutes left. It's not really much to see. This is the pick six right here. So here we go. Yeah, we go. So, again, bootleg, play action rollout to the side, and basically shrinking the field, right? So you have essentially, I want to call this like a flood concept. You have one underneath, one over the top, and then you probably have a deep route right here, right? So you see he's reading out the field, and he has a choice right now. He's going to go right back, reads Bachman. All right? Great play by Simpson. He doesn't try to force it, okay? It's very important. Hold on. Let's maximize this. Sorry, you guys. My bad. I did my boy Simpson dirty. I ain't even pull him up on the full screen. Play action bootleg. Bang. There you go. Sell it. Rolling out. And again, remember I said this. Simpson is mobile, but he's going to look to throw more times than not. He doesn't want to run the ball. He wants to utilize his legs to buy him time to throw the ball. That's what I like about Simpson. Throws back across his body, hits Bachman. Good play, Simpson. Let's look at him. Looks like we're in a 2x2 set. Here we go. And again, look at the protection, man. It allows him to survey the field. Hits that back step. Lets that shit fly. Good throw. Good throw, young man. Good throw. Look at this. It's that back step. Look at the route combinations. What I like about this throw is that he was he was confident in throwing this right here. Okay? I don't want to say he was predetermined to go here. Maybe he just liked the matchup coming, at the snap. But then you look at something like this. You got Presley underneath. Look at all this right here. This might have been a blown coverage. I want to say this is his side right here. But you look, his eyes are over here the whole time. So I'm assuming he wants to go over here. But think about this. You have your running back right here attacking the middle linebacker. His eyes are right here. I want to say they're likely going to go over this in film study because I don't know if this is a busted coverage by the Saints because I want to say it looks like they're in zone based off of how he's playing. But the quarterback right here is playing man coverage or he's plastering onto this route. And it looks of the linebacker, he's playing here. Now, this defender has his eyes somewhere over here, but this makes no sense. Based off the logic and principles, he would not. Why am I having a guy basically cross, man? This is some dumb shit you do in Madden. But again, they would probably go over this, love to throw. But again, if we're nitpicking, just like Stetson Bennett, he had the receiver going over the middle. In this play right here, had he thrown to Presley, he probably has way more room. And Presley is great after the catch. But again, that's me nitpicking. Great throw by Simpson. He threw it to Edwards right there. Good route by Edwards, too. Great route. Great ball placement right there. Here we go. So here's the 4th and 2 play I was talking about. So he knew right now he was going here. He knew it. He knew it. Maybe he got it out a little bit too late. What we think? Drop your opinions in the comments. 1, 2, 3. That little hezzy right there. It's crazy. That's how the game of football is. That little hezzy. Had he maybe went 1, 2, 3, bang, and that ball was out right now, maybe. But they knew what type of time it was. And again, if you evaluate tape on Ty Simpson, this is what he does. He's going to look to hit that quick breaking route and try to go methodically up and down the field. That's what he does. So here we go. Snaps the ball. Great protection again. Look, open. The ball's right out. See, we not even looking to let anything develop. If it's open, we're taking it. Bang. Sees it right there. You see how quick that ball comes out? This is why I compared it to Purdy. Purdy's going to run the offense the way you want it to be. He's going to look at the reads and say, yo, this is how we're going to get the ball out. Just like this. Look. Just get the ball out. Look, bang, hit that back step, bang. Open, take what we get. Take what we can get, let's go. And you make somebody miss, and then you get an explosive play. Hell of a play. Valari, that's his name. I didn't want to mispronounce it, but yeah. So he hits that back step of his drop back. He already knew. I'm going right there, right away. Great read, too. Because based off the play that they had, it looks like the Saints had a pretty good coverage going up against it. So, right here. This right here. Great run by Jarquez Hunter. Man. Ladies and gentlemen. After this, there's nothing on Simpson. But y'all see this. Look at this. No. Man, y'all got to shout out the O-line. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the combo blocks. Getting into the second level, man. I mean, who is that? Is that a Curry? A Curry maybe could have gotten hit with a hole, but they didn't get him there. Look at my man's Murray. Y'all see 6? Y'all see 6s? Y'all see my man's right here? Get up off me, son. Yo, he needs to be on the roster. I'm sorry, man. And I love the way. Look, you see the offensive line play? Look at this. Combo block. 60 and 66. Y'all see that, right? I'm surprised they didn't get a hold right there. Damn. Look at this. Look, get up off me, son. Combo block. Look at that. Look at that. Yo, he's made a severe case to be on this team, yo. Straight up. Nobody can tell me anything different. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. When you look at the differences between the two of them, I believe that Ty Simpson throws the ball with more velocity, right? Better arm strength. But Stetson Bennett has the stones to let routes develop a little bit more and throw with a little bit more touch. Whereas with Simpson, I don't want to say he's conservative, but he is going to take what the defense is giving him more times than not. And that's good and bad, right? Because sometimes you want the quarterback to basically say, nah, you know what? Screw you. I don't care if you're giving me that. I want more. And I don't know if Simpson's that guy, you know, in terms of wanting to do that. He has the ability to do it. We've seen it in Alabama. As all of you know, I told you guys, I really liked what he put on tape at Alabama, you know. But in my opinion, I know Stetson Bennett had a good outing yesterday. I'm not going to put him over Simpson. I'm just not. I'm just not. That's me. You know, I could call that a hot take. I don't know, man. What we saw going up against Kansas City, the ability to go through progressions and be accurate with the ball, okay? Consistently accurate. If we look at the stats, we'll pull up the stats. Take that bad boy off. Here we go. My bad. I wasn't even paying attention. Here we go. So y'all see this right here? Stetson Bennett went 19-31 for 181 yards. Ty Simpson went 8-12 for 73 yards. 77.5 rating for Stetson Bennett, 83 rating for Ty Simpson. When you look at these numbers, right? Again, 19-31, that is not great in terms of completion percentage. Is it manageable? Yes. Gets the job done? Yes. But that means you miss 12 throws. Now, the one thing about Stetson Bennett, like, again, and I give him credit for having, he has that shit that, I got to stop cursing. He has that thing that the gunslingers have. Like, just that mindset that I could throw that. The issue is he doesn't have the arm talent you need to have to be a gunslinger, to have that type of a mentality. And that's why Stetson Bennett hasn't progressed into the level of quarterback that, you know, I believe that he believes he could be. It's not to say he can't be successful here. I believe he can be. But I just think that we're limited with him. Again, great protection, but I feel like you're a product of your instincts. And we've seen this way too many times with Stetson Bennett, where he starts drifting in the pocket. And then on top of that, when the game gets a little bit sped up and he gets off his spot, he'll throw into a spot where he believes that he, you know, has the right play for the right coverage. He believes that he's reading the defense well, and he's throwing it right into a window where a defender is like he didn't even see him. And you get a lot of that with Stetson Bennett. It's not to say that he can't consistently be an effective gunslinger and throw it accurately. Listen, when he gets on a heater, he is extremely good. But what happens if he's not on the heater? You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you guys this. Matthew Stafford is a better version of Brett Favre, because you see how, like, I don't know how old you guys are, but when you watch some of Brett Favre's throws sometimes, it looked like the way Stetson Bennett would do it. And I'm not going to compare the two. We're talking about throws that are like, yo, why would you throw that? Like, why would you throw that into 4 defenders? And it wasn't even a good throw. You threw it right at the guy, or you overshot. The best ones is when he will overshoot a throw, throw it deep down the field, and it will basically be a punt on second down, throwing it right to a quarterback and a safety. The receiver's like 15 yards back. It's like, bro, why would you throw that? That's what you get. I say all of that because that's what you get with Stetson Bennett. You get what I'm saying? That's why, for me, I'm not putting him over Ty Simpson. But you guys let me know in the comments what you think about the two. You know, that's me breaking down their tape, giving you my honest evaluation based off of what I saw yesterday. Again, this is a credit to all of those players on the offensive side. But you guys let me know in the comments what you think about the things we just covered. And we're 50 minutes into this video. I did not want this to be as long as it was. But ladies and gentlemen, I guess it is what it is. But you guys want Rams coverage, so here we are. We give you the real and authentic over here. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up this episode. And what I'm going to be doing right now is we're going to be cutting off this stream. And we're going to be picking up on a new episode in which we're going to be talking about the defense and some of the other players offensively that I thought performed great. We'll get into more CJ Daniels, Jarquez Hunter, Jordan Waters. In this video, we got the offensive line play out there, the play calling and the quarterback play. But I really want to chop it up about the receivers, the tight ends, the defensive players. We're going to get more into that in this next episode. But that's all I got for you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.